Hello guys and welcome back to another FPL video. Today we're going to look at some differential players. What I mean by differentials, those are players that are low owned. I will be looking at under 10% for now. So I'll be picking several from each position so you can strengthen your squad. For example, a player of the status of Isaac is owned by 54% of the teams, while a player such as Andreas is under 10% owned. So for example, if I wanted to suggest immediately a differential option, I was going to say Andreas. We're going to go through the rankings. I will mention several per position. I'm not going to dive into the complete abyss of selling 20 players from midfield that you can pick from. No, I will focus on most probably 2 or 3 goalkeepers, 5 to 6 defenders, 5 to 6 forwards, and 2 to 3 forwards once again. So you will be able to choose players from that list and build your team with some template picks. So template is the high ownership like Isaac, and the differential is the low ownership like Andreas. I hope you enjoyed such type of content. If you want to see more from me, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and be part of our community. We are steadily growing step by step, and I'm aiming to reach as high as possible and to make this community the best possible in the FPL world. So now the first thing to do is to sort players by team selected by, go to goalkeepers, and let's see how it goes. So Turner is the most owned keeper, which surprises me a lot because he isn't going to play in my opinion. There is Sales, there is the new guy Miguel, and then there is Turner. I believe everyone is thinking, okay, he got 41 points for 4.0 million. This looks like a bargain. I don't think so. So don't be afraid and don't fall for that price point. As you can see, Raya, Pickford, Flecken, Martinez, Ario, our Alex Becker, Alisson Becker, yeah, I forgot his name, are way out of reach, but now we're getting into the more interesting of keepers. Now we're beginning with the Chelsea keeper, and I believe that this is a good example of a keeper that is just below the ownership, so I will consider him differential because he's under 10%, but if you want to go for a solid keeper from potentially a top 6 side, this is going to be the Chelsea keeper. We don't know if it's going to be Sanchez, Petrovic, or anyone new that is going to come. But for sure, I believe that this is a good differential to own. A Chelsea keeper for under 5 million. That's a brilliant deal if you ask me. And this will be the first guy that I would recommend. Next up, I see a keeper that surprises me that is such low owned. This is Onana. I know that he is the Manchester United keeper and there are some defenders at 4.5, so you have opportunity to invest and go there and be solid with a 4.5 player. But Onana for me is one of the best defensive options from United now until we see how they exploit the team. He has been growing into the FPL and Premier League live, and he was getting points at the end of the season. He finished on 9 clean sheets. He played all 38 games, so he's not rotatable. He made a very, very good save record. Like from expected goals conceded, he conceded almost 12 less. So that is great. The saves were almost 150. And if you want to go for a 5.0 keeper different from Pickford or Emi Martinez, Onana is your guy. He is building some good differential numbers. And the last guy here that I want to recommend for is a keeper from Crystal Palace, either Henderson or Sam Johnston. Once again, as with Chelsea keeper, we are not sure yet what is going to happen. But for me, a Crystal Palace keeper is a good choice for less money than Pickford and the rest. They're good defensively. They have kept, so for 18 starts, he kept 4 clean sheets, while Johnston for the other 20, he kept 6, so those are 10 clean sheets for Palace, and that was before the new manager came, when they were destroying teams. So I believe that the Crystal Palace keeper being Henderson or Sam Johnston, depending on who starts, is going to be a very, very good option. So I believe that wraps up the 3 goalkeepers that I want to recommend to you as differential options. Now, going into the defensive part, as you can see, the most picked defender is Saliba, followed by Gvardiol. Pedro Porro is here. I know that he has been mentioned a lot, and it is a 25% ownership, so that's a lot. But when we go down to the list, we appear at Virgil, who is just above the scale. Gay is above the scale. And the first defender that I immediately want to recommend is Mikulenko. If you cannot afford Pickford, this is a really cheap way into the Everton defense. He scored 2 goals. He scored an assist as well. He was in a pretty good form before the injury. Now, with a full summer break and summer preparation, he will go immediately back into the squad and he can do really well. And you'll get those clean sheets cheaper than Brentwaite, Tarkovsky, and Pickford. Going down below, seeing players like Walker, Van den Ven is a good shout out in my opinion. For me, 8.3, he's the cheapest route to the Spurs defense. Romero, Poro, and Udogi are more expensive, Vicario as well, but Mickey Van den Ven, 3 goals scored for 27 games. Yeah, he kept only 5 clean sheets. He got a lot of yellow cards, but this was his first season in the Prem, and the first season for Ange in the Prem, their coach. So he and Spurs are going to improve 1,000,000%. So I believe more clean sheet will they get, and especially for the first 2 weeks, you can get 2 quick clean sheets, maybe a goal from a set piece is coming, we are not sure yet, but Mickey Van den Ven makes my list for sure. Next, going down, we see players like Madsen, who is a very good option. I'm just not sure that he is going to play, but I would recommend him to you. Like, he played only 11 minutes, but for Borussia Dortmund, he helped them reach the Champions League final. He was solid, he was offensive, he was attacking, and Villa are a team that enjoys to do that. He's going to fight for a place with Luka Din, but I believe that he's going to win that battle. And there is a fight between him and Moreno as well, because Moreno is still there at Villa. And it's going to be 3 people for 2 places. Maybe he's utilized as a midfielder. Maybe they go back to 3 at the back. We are not completely sure yet what will happen, but I want to mention him nonetheless. Another defender that I want to say some good things about is Lewis Dunk. He is one of the 2 players, I believe, from Brighton last season that made over 30 appearances, and he's the co-captain. He's great from set pieces, and there is a rumor that the new coach is going to rely a lot of set pieces. I know that United and Arsenal are not great fixtures, but Ipswich and Everton are for defensive perspective. And if you're looking someone to just go for 1 week, game week 1 and game week 4, and maybe 5 potentially in, he's your guy. After that, either a wild card or a transfer out or just a bench option. Nonetheless, he's going to be great, and at 4.5, I don't think that you can go much wrong with him, and I believe he's a very solid player. Now, we see a lot of United defenders here, but I recommended Onana, and I'm not going to recommend another United defender, because for me, Onana is the best option, and he's differential. Going down the list, I'm pretty surprised that this guy is here. When I did a little bit of a quick research, I was so surprised that Muniz was here. 4 assists for 16 games and 5 clean sheets. That number is amazing. I think that he gets a lot of yellow cards, so 4 yellow cards, but there is a goal soon happening. If you're looking for a proper 5.0, there aren't many, if I have to mention, but Munoz is one of them for me. He can get you the differential points, he can get you the attacking returns, he can get you a goal, he can get you everything, and he seems like totally nailed. So for 5.0, a 3.5 points per match for a defender from Crystal Palace that is new to the Premier League. For me, this guy is a steal, and you should consider him 1000%. Going down the list, I see another differential defender that excites me. Not for the start, nonetheless, because the start is pretty awful. Apart from Forest, next easiest game is Brentford. But after that, against City, I think there is a good run of fixtures for Wolves. So you have that in mind. I'm just pointing him out currently. And the final guy that I want to mention here, I know that there are several guys going down below. Maybe I'm missing someone, but this guy, Leif Davis, he's a former player of Leeds. He played in Leeds only 2 minutes 3 seasons ago. But now he's at Ipswich. He did, I believe, 18 assists in the championship. If he does only 25% of that, still 4 assists to 5 is going to be an amazing run. He's not great for the first 2 fixtures, but after that, the next 3, he's okay. You skip Aston Villa where you can bench him, and next for the next 4, he's super alright. Spurs and United once again benching, and then you're good to go once again. So If you want to target a differential defender with a good attacking potential and coming from a newly promoted side, this I believe is going to be the next Alfie Doughty from last season. And if you get him at the right time in the year, you're going to get good points. And I believe the right time will appear quickly. We don't know how Ipswich are going to perform because they haven't been in the Prem for 20 years. But now I believe Leif Davis is going to be such a focal point going forward for their team. Now, moving swiftly into midfield, as we've taken a lot of time speaking about defenders. From midfield's perspective, Palmer is the most owned player, and that is completely reasonable because he got the most points last season. Gordon is there as well. As you can see, I own two players that are pretty template, Eze and Salah. Odegaard is here as well. But if you go down below, you will see immediately a Heung-min Son appearing. Well, 213 points from 34 starts, being a captain of a top 6 side with 17 goals, 10 assists, I believe 0 penalties in their favor, and he is the penalty taker. I believe this guy can be a hidden gem, guys. I cannot believe that I'm saying that Heung-min Son is a hidden gem. 6 points per match. If someone is saying that this will be happening for you, this is a season holder, guys. At 10 million at Spurs fixtures, I know that it gets a little bit tricky after Everton, but Newcastle and Arsenal, you can quickly remove them and go for a Palmer. You can go for a Saka, even though Arsenal are not getting pretty good fixtures as well. You can easily swap someone and go for Salah up. You can drop down to basically anyone. Bruno Fernandes is a good option. Odegaard once again is a good option. You have so many other players below him, so he's an amazing option. And Leicester and Everton first 2 fixtures. I know that Everton is a good team defensively. Leicester we don't know anything yet, but those 2 he can do damage. And against Newcastle, if they are getting up to speed still, Heung-min Son can be detrimental. We need to see how he's going to be deployed, who is going to play the main forward. Is he from the left? Because out of position striker, if he plays against a low block, it's not exciting, but a striker against Newcastle and Arsenal, this now excites me. So we need to see how it goes, and he's a high contender for being into my Gameweek 1 squad. Going down below, you can see that there are players like Maino. I want to give a shout out to Mbumo, who, if Tony leaves, this guy is a gem, and I'm going with him. Palace and Liverpool hard, Southampton easy, then too hard, but from West Ham up until Leicester, I don't see a good defensive side apart from Everton, maybe. Everything else from Spurs up until Leicester is good offensively. United are not bad defense team to target offensively. For now, if they improve defensively, for sure. But for now, I see from Game Week 5, Spurs are not a good defense as well. Up until Game Week 13, and Mbumo might be in my squad for sure. Going down, I was pretty surprised to see Gibbs White so low. First 3 fixtures are amazing, 4 it's a little bit different, but then 5 and 6 provide very good option for a good return. Like if they don't return good points in here, and then those 2 fixtures, I believe this is going to get harder and harder. And I believe Forest are a good side to target from the beginning. Gibbs White is on penalties, and he is doing so well. And he's on basically every set piece. Another guy that surprises me a lot to be here is Madison. 6.1 for a player that was in a lot of teams last season. 4 goals, 11 assists. The issue here is that he's not a 90 minutes player. Kulusevski is playing alright in the cam position. And there is a European football coming. So Madison can be a rotation risk, a slight one, but still a rotation risk. So I wouldn't go immediately and say, okay, go with Madison, but I'm so shocked at 6.1. And by the way, he is one of the most beneficial players of the change of the bonus point system. A lot of the Spurs defenses loses that bonus point appeal, but Madison gives a massive appeal. So I would consider even starting with him as well. As you can see, there are some cheap options like Rogers, Hudson-Odoi, and Andreas, and Bailey. But let's talk about the 3 5.5 and below. You can choose one of Rogers, Hudson-Odoi, and Andreas. For me, they are the best cheap option that there are in the market currently, before seeing how anyone plays and how everyone is set up. So those 3 options in midfield are going to be very solid. I don't know if Hudson-Odoi is nailed yet, but Andreas is for sure nailed. Rogers is a mixed bag of emotions once again. The final guy that I want to mention, no, I want to see page 2, but a guy that I want to mention 1,000,000% is Leon Bailey. For 22 starts and 2000 minutes, he got 148 points. Those are 10 goals and 11 assists. Now, with Diaby 99% leaving, this guy is going to improve so massively. He's going to be playing like a second striker next to Watkins against some sides that are not so low block, like West Ham are not going to be a low block away at home, because that's how they play with under the Wopageti is not a defensive manager. Arsenal are not going to be defensive aside. Leicester and Everton okay, but the first two fixtures you can target the counter-attackers. Then you can target Leicester because they're just not such a good defense. Wolves and Ipswich is a good teams to target. United is not amazing defensively. Fulham, Bournemouth, Spurs. Up until Liverpool you face only Arsenal. So a Villa player that is nailed, costing 6.5 is going to be such a good option in my opinion. So that's why he's in my draft. Going into the second page, I want to look quickly. Diogo Jota can become an option, McAllister as well, Szoboszlai can, Bruno G, but no one excites me like the guys I showed you on the first page. Now, let's continue and go to the forwards, because I feel like there we can find some differentials as well. The last guy that is not getting into the list is Solanke. So we have 7 forwards that are so highly owned compared to last season. I believe the start of the season, a lot of the forwards were just avoided. Now we have Watkins at 56, Isaac at 54, Haaland is only 33. If he scores in the Community Shield, I believe this thing is going to skyrocket. But for now, I believe that he is going to be such a good differential. Haaland differential, that's so funny. Even though he's 33%, he is considered a differential at that percentage ownership compared to almost 90% last season. It's a joke. Going into the forwards, Matete is going to be an option, but not for the start. I want to mention him because he's most probably going to play in the finals for the Olympics, so I don't see a way that he is not going to be rested a little bit and eased in, so Mateta, keep an eye on him. Darwin or Gakpo, here lies the golden goose in my opinion for the Liverpool forward. You need to see who is the selected guy. I don't know if SWOT rotates around Champions League, around Cups. I need to see how he sets up, but when we find out, both of them are going to be gems if they are playing. Gw1 is a little bit tricky to decide, but 10 goals and 2 assists in 2000 minutes, that's a good return ratio. Now we're getting into some dangerous territory at 5.5 and 6.0. I want to mention Vardy, who compared to previous seasons, I don't know why the starts are 0 here, but he has been scoring some solid goals before. Yeah, this season wasn't amazing for him, so significantly lower in price, significantly worse compared to a lot more players, but you keep an eye on Vardy. It's not the best fixture run to start, but from here onwards, it's not a lot harder. It's not get a lot easier, sorry. Now, Muniz, Armstrong, and Wood are my 3 players for a cheeky differential here, and the 3 guys are good options for me. Muniz and Wood are better options, as Wood is most probably on penalties. He scored 14 goals. Can you believe that? For 20 starts, he scored 14 goals. That's such a good number. We don't know if Awoni starts or not. We need to see in preseason what happens. But if he keeps delivering such good numbers and with the starting fixture for their team, this is going to be interesting to monitor. Then we have Alvarez, who can become an option, but for now he's not. And Wissa, there is something interesting about him. If Tony goes, and there is a new guy called Thiago who is going to be picked 1000% at some point, but Wissa is proven. He scored 12 goals, made 4 assists, with pretty good expected goals and assist ratio. And he has been getting some solid bonus points at 15. I believe this guy can cause a lot of damage. So these are the guys that I wanted to discuss. Most probably more guys will appear during the season and we're going to consider them for sure. We're going to mention them 1000%, but I believe this is a good list to go from as differential players. The template is going to be discussed somewhere further next week. I will see how the template is looking and I will build the most template draft and I will rate it and see where it leaves us. But yeah, we are done with the differentials. I hope you enjoyed them. If you think I missed someone, don't forget to put it down in the comment section. If you like this content, don't forget to smash the subscribe button, smash the notifications button, the like button, put down a comment, all those great stuff. But for now, guys, I'll be heading out. Bye!